I've been using the Galaxy S24 for 10 months now, and here is my updated review. Currently recording this video in the car using the Galaxy S24 itself. My son is asleep in the back, but just trying to record the video wherever I can. The AC is on in the car, so you may hear a lot of background noise, but at least you get to hear the mic in its original form without anything plugged in. You can hear how the background noise reduction works. So this is from the camera itself. I'm actually speaking low, half whispering, so I don't wake him up. And I know the Galaxy S25 is around the corner since Samsung released a new phone every single year. But nowadays, phones don't really change that much from year to year. The Galaxy S24 will be supported up until 2031. So if you're still debating to get it now or wait for the S25, at least I hope this long-term review is going to be useful for you. But in general, the chips don't really change that much year to year. Maybe it'll be fractionally better. I still have my Galaxy S20 and it works fine. I don't feel like it's slow or stuttering by any means. I mean, the S24 is obviously faster since it's 4 years newer. But if you have any phones over the last 2 or 3 years, it really doesn't change that much. And on a day-to-day basis, it's not life-changing just in terms of the improvements from both phones. The biggest difference that I do see is the Galaxy S24 has a much better fingerprint sensor compared to the S20. So that's the first reason. And I got 6 more reasons why I like the Galaxy S24. Just the form factor is nice. I love taking it in and out of my pockets. Easy to use with one hand compared to the Plus model and even the Ultra model. Flipping phones, folding phones, those are all annoying. I don't like to deal with the form factor, having to flick the phone open. With the S24, it's small, it's easy to use. I'm always carrying a kid on one hand, so it's easy for me to take out my phone and navigate around with one hand with the smaller S24 model. And since I switch phones so much, I like the fact that all my apps are already on this phone. The most annoying part of switching to any single phone is it having to log into everything again. You can use the password manager, but you gotta remember your password to the password manager, and then you have to copy and paste the password in, so it's a lot of work. So even though I test and review a lot of phones, at the end of the day, everything is all set on my S24. When I switch to a new phone, I don't necessarily need to log into the banking app on every single phone that I have. I kind of just default to my one phone as my main driver, and then I can test other phones as is. But just in terms of being all in one place and the pain of switching phones, this is very annoying. I know, speaking from first world problems, a lot of people don't really switch their phones that often. They do about every few years. But just for me personally, as a phone reviewer, I just like the fact that all my applications and all my logins are already stored into this phone by default. And I like how the Galaxy S24 is really durable, and can't tell you how many times I dropped this phone around the house, hardwood floor, banged on concrete a few times. So there's some nicks around the edges of the phone. I got scratches in the bottom left hand corner, top. Sometimes I just toss the phone in my pocket with my keys in there, so definitely a lot of battle scars and scratches on the front screen. But overall, it's still in pretty decent shape for a whole year, for almost a year of use. No case, no screen protector. So very premium materials, and I can say that this phone will definitely hold up and withstand a lot of abuse. Unlike flipping phones, you have to be very careful. If you bring it to the beach and you get a little bit of sand in there, then you close the phone, you might crack the phone. Here you don't need to worry about it. It's just a regular slab phone. If there's sand on it, just brush it off or wash it off, it'll be okay. It's not gonna break. So sometimes simple is just better. You don't always need it to be fancy with all the flipping and folding technology. Even though it's nostalgic, it's cool, it's a novelty factor, I get all that. I was pretty pumped about folding phones in the beginning. The more I use it, the more I just appreciate these normal phones much more. And for me personally, I've been using Samsung phones since the Galaxy S3. I'm familiar with One UI. It used to be called TouchWiz back then, so I really know what to expect with One UI. It has all the features that I like, and just everything's pretty simple and easy for me to use. When I plug in a microphone to record video, I know automatically it's going to recognize the mic and just record. You'd think everything would be that straightforward, but unfortunately it's not. On Pixel phone, whenever I plug it in the mic, I have to go into the settings and select that I want to use the mic. On Motorola phone, for some reason, when I connect in the mic, it doesn't even work. There's no settings for the mic, there's nowhere for you to select it. Maybe you have to download another app. So as you can see, like every phone even a simple gesture like that may not always talk to each other the same or work the same as you expect. So for me, I use Samsung, I use Apple, I use Pixel, OnePlus, and all these other brands. But at the end of the day, the one I'm most comfortable and familiar with is just Samsung One UI. I just know that it works once I plug it in, and I don't have any questions or have doubts that my camera, my mic might not record by the time I finish the video. And next thing I like about Samsung phones in general, it's just all the camera options. They have the dual camera. They also have the split screen camera. So right now I'm using my phone in the car. I have a selfie camera on one side of the screen, and I have my Google Keep Notes on the other, so I can just glance through my notes as I'm recording this video, so it looks like I'm looking at the camera, but I'm actually glancing at my notes as well. So stuff like that is easy for me to use. I like the dual camera. If I want to walk around, record the scene and myself at once, vlog style, I can do that. Pixel phones don't have that functionality. It has a single take option. If I'm ever somewhere cool, I'm on vacation, I can't decide if I want to take a picture, a Snapchat, or a short video, I can just do a single take, record a 10 to 15 seconds clip. Then it'll generate me a whole bunch of clips that are nice. They'll even throw music in there. They give you some black and white photos, some edited effects. They might even like slow it up or have some slow motion. So they pretty much create everything for you. So it just depends if you don't want to edit or can't figure out what you want to do or how you want to record. This is a nice, quick, easy way just to kind of record something real quick, and then hopefully Samsung can do something cool with it, and I find it to be pretty useful. So those are the 6 things I like about the Galaxy S24. And now let's jump into the things that I do not like. I know I mentioned first thing is the size. I know I mentioned it earlier as I do like the size just because it's smaller, but this phone is still a 6.2 inch phone. Unfortunately, it is the smallest that it has to offer, so I always default to the smallest model. And if you really look back to when the Galaxy Note 10 came out, that phone was 6.3 inches. So you really think about it, the smallest base model is almost as big as the Note back then. So it's small, but it's not that small. So when typing, reaching the corner can be challenging, or you need to reach all the way to the top of the screen. It's very hard for one-handed use. If I'm laying in my bed, I'm trying to text with my left hand, it is really challenging for me. But unfortunately, people love big phones. Apple tried the iPhone mini, but it doesn't really sell, so they got rid of the mini. So small phones days are gone. I mean, if you really look, you can find the iPhone SE, maybe some other devices out there that are smaller, but if you really want a Samsung phone that's small and powerful, this is really all you got. I just wish it was a little bit tinier, but I might be in the minority there. And even though I mentioned that the phone is durable and still working, there's a whole bunch of scratches on the front of the phone. I guess it can be easily avoided if I just buy a $10 screen protector, but for me personally, I just like to use the phone the way it was meant to be built. No screen protector, no phone case. So if you want the better screen, you got to get the Ultra model, but that model costs anywhere from $1,100 to $1,200. Maybe it's cheaper now. Android phone always go on sale, so you wait a few months, or in this case 10 months later, it can easily drop anywhere from $300 to $600. They go on sale all the time, but you're not getting the best screen with the base model. That's my point. Battery life is also not really good on this phone. I start my day usually around 6:30 a.m. whenever my baby wake me up, and a lot of time I'm scrambling throughout the day just to plug it in, find a charger, and sometime the night before I don't always get to charge my phone because I'm putting my kid to bed, so I don't always have time to run and find a charger. You kind of have to adapt and just go with the flow. And unfortunately, this phone only lasts me about 10 to 12 hours a day on a normal basis. By 5 p.m. is usually completely dead unless I'm scrambling, plugging it here and there, and even charging it here and there. I still find that I always need to be either connected to a wall or I'm driving. Right now I'm in the car. I actually have it plugged in since I'm recording this video. I'm at 42% and it is 2:40 in the afternoon. When I went to bed last night, I guess I didn't really charge it either, but even if I do charge it at 100%, 6:30 in the morning, it can barely last me through a whole day. But I guess I do play some Pokemon trading card games throughout the day, at least 30 to 60 minutes. I play a lot of YouTube in the background, podcasts, Baby Shark, Miss Rachel. So battery life could be better. When I use the Moto Razr Plus model and even the regular model, those phones don't really give me a battery anxiety, but those phones are closer to 7 inches. If you get the Plus model and the Ultra, you can get better battery life, but if you really want the smaller form factor, you do have to sacrifice battery. So keep that in mind if you want to get the base model. And one issue that I experience a lot with Samsung phone in general is the charging port get really loose unless you use a specific cable, maybe, because right now I'm just using a USB-C cable, that is from the Google Pixel. But you would think that all USB-C cable are created equally, but they're not. And sometimes it charges, sometimes it doesn't. And even me, when driving around, I have Android Auto plugged in. Occasionally, if I just graze my phone by accident, it gets disconnected. So that happens to me a lot. So just keep that in mind. Maybe I gotta go and find my Samsung cable and plug it in and see if there's gonna be better results. And this happens as well with other random charging cable that I have around the house. Sometimes it doesn't fast charge because it's a little loose or there's some debris in there, but that's a pretty common issue. But the most annoying part is when I'm driving, I don't like having my GPS disconnected, then I have to reconnect it, and you don't want to have to be fumbling around messing with your settings while you're driving. Next thing I don't like is the Galaxy S24 only has 8 gigs of RAM. In general, it doesn't really bother me that much, except when I'm playing Pokemon trading card game. Maybe it's the game itself, but if I'm playing the game, I switch over, I answer text, and I switch back. Sometimes the game would just restart. Maybe because the game is too intensive and it can't handle all the RAM management in the back. But when I use other phone that has more RAMs and more power, it doesn't restart. So keep that in mind. Depending on what games you play, you may or may not experience that issue like I do. Next thing I don't like is the low speakers. Since it's a smaller phone, there's a smaller speaker chamber. If I'm showering, trying to listen to music or podcasts, I do have a hard time hearing, especially with the water hitting me. So if you are a podcast in the shower person, it might be challenging to hear. Music is fine because you can play it louder, but sometimes podcasts is hard to hear in the shower. And for an $800 phone in 2024, it only has 128 gigabyte of storage, which is unacceptable. Right now, when I take a lot of videos and all the games and apps and even the phone system itself, it takes up a lot of space. And on my phone, I'm running anywhere from 5 to 10 gigs left, just because I'm always struggling with storage. So I guess you can always buy Google Cloud and other option, but I think, I don't know, even the cheaper Razer phone at $700, it comes with 256 gigabyte of storage. So Samsung definitely could do better there. I know if you pre-order the phone or you get them early, they double your storage anyways, but that's not the default model unless you buy it during a promotion period. So just keep that in mind, that 120 gigabyte is kind of light. And I know I complain a lot about flipping phone in general, but I think the one thing that I do miss about having flipping phone is the portable tripod anywhere. Sometimes my kids just want to watch Miss Rachel, I can just plop my phone anywhere and just set it up and he can watch it. But here I gotta find a wall or a pole for it to lean on, and then it drops, so it does get annoying. So that's probably one of the biggest benefits of having a flipping phone compared to a normal slab phone. This portable tripod is somewhat useful here and there. And the last and kind of most annoying thing, one of the most annoying things about this phone is the charging port. If you're showering and you get water in the port, or sometimes you're brushing your teeth or just washing your face and water get in there, it stays in there for a while, and then you can't charge your phone. So you don't have a wireless charger, you're out of luck. If you're sleeping at night and then you just happen to get a little bit of water into the port, you cannot charge it overnight if you're using a regular cable, because it detects that there's some moisture in there. And ever since the whole Note 7 fiasco with their exploding phone, they have been super cautious with it, and this is a result of that. So yeah, I remember going on vacation one time with my Galaxy S8. I got some water in it and I basically couldn't use the phone for the whole trip. I mean, I did bring it to the Blue Lagoon hot tub, which is probably my fault. It might have been a little bit too intense, but regardless, it's just water. You would think at some point the water will get out, but it wasn't until I got home to the United States that I was able to slap it on my wireless charger and bring it back to life. Even though these phones are water resistant, just be careful. If you do want to dip it in water, just make sure you have a wireless charger as a backup. Alrighty, so that's it. That's my long-term review of the Galaxy S24. Overall, my favorite thing about it is it's small, it's nice and comfortable to use, but at the same time, it's still large. The battery life could be better. I love the camera in it. Could use a little bit more power and RAM, but at the end of the day, it is a fine phone for me. But S25, I don't expect it to be that much different. You may notice I did not mention anything about AI. Every company's trying to push AI, but I don't think it's that useful. There's cool tricks here and there. I'm pretty sure there are many apps you can download out there, like ChatGPT if you want to use AI. All these photo generating and translation text, those are all nice. I don't find it useful that you can, but I personally don't really use it on my day-to-day life, so I wouldn't think of that as a big selling point. But overall, it's a fine phone. It works well. It's serve its purpose in life. I'm definitely still going to switch to the Galaxy S25 when it comes out. And yeah, let me know if you have any thoughts, questions, concern, what phone you're using today. I appreciate the time as always. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next video.